Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Back to some more standard financial content, shall we say, as well. In this week's episode, I wanted to run through the cost of the land that you will have seen in the Bulgaria Project video, and also run through the planning document and spreadsheet that I use to help track the costs of this project and forecast as and when we will be able to afford different elements of the build. What I won't do is go through the entire project cost. One, because we don't know the full extent of this yet, we haven't quite finished it. And two, I think it will be easier to reveal each cost of each element of this project as I release each episode, if that makes sense. So for now, we'll run through the planner, and if this is something that you guys are looking to do in future and this planner is useful, I will upload a blank copy and feel free to grab one. It's all free, of course. So let's go. So to start with, what you can see here is my planning document. So this is kind of a very rough and ready version. It's very stripped back, very basic. My other one does append into my just general day-to-day planner and my credit card tracker, which I haven't yet revealed what the credit card tracker looks like, but it all links together, which is the kind of point of this channel. Eventually we'll get to a point where I will build out the entire spreadsheet, but for now this is kind of the second phase of the budget planner, as you will, in that it allows you to track how much you're saving and where and when it's getting invested. In this case, the house in Bulgaria is where most of our investments are going. So I won't build it this time, this is pre-built. I'll just explain some of the points that are in there. So up here, you've got your savings tracker and a goal. Now the goal here is a link down to everything that's in this cost box at the bottom. So this is basically the first elements of the project build that I've put in there. As you can see here, it's got a yes, no for paid, and I'll explain that shortly. But effectively, once you've built out your entire project, and if more points do crop up and you need to put them in, you can add them in. It will go to here and tell you how much you've got saved. Below, it will go to here and tell you how much is going to cost to complete the project or what your goal is. Below is how much you've got saved overall. This is a combination of your monthly in savings, so how much you're putting into a savings account in the month. I've got income 1, income 2 here because obviously this is between me and my partner. We're investing in this together. This isn't our actual savings amount in the month. This is just 2 blank columns, and I've illustrated here with £100 in each one. Obviously it varies very different to that in reality. And then below gives you the remaining, so how much left you have to save based on what you've got in the pot versus your goal. Quite simple. And then below I've just added a little formula here. This took me a little bit to figure out, to be fair, but it does seem to work quite well. Estimated months, so how many months based on how much you're saving within these boxes will it take you to reach that goal. So up here, these are just some static numbers. This 29.8 blah 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 blah. Don't need to worry about that. That is the number you need to put in for this formula to work, which is the estimated months. So it does your today's date plus your average amount times by that number there, which works out, forecast how many months. But it's very boring. Don't need to worry about the formula too much. I'll leave it in when I upload it, so just as long as you don't delete it, it should work fine. And as you can see, so let's, for example, if we were saving, I don't know, £5,000 per month each, which is quite ridiculous, you can see that the forecast then tells us that it will effectively take us to June 25 to get to the goal of 32 grand, which it roughly works. Like I said, it's not perfect, it's just an indicative number, just telling you based on how much you're saving, how long is it going to take to get there. So let's just put that back to the £1,000 for now. Well, maybe I had 100, but we'll put it to 1,000. It's better anyway. What you can also do is your balance at the start. So what you might have is a pot of savings before January 2025 Obviously, we don't want to go all the way back and track how much you have done. You only really care about where you are going forward. So for example, let's say we both had like £10,000 here. It just adds that into that bucket here of what is saved, and then effectively tells you how much you've got left to go. So with the £20,000 previous savings brought forward, plus saving on average £1,000 a month, it would take us to September 25. As you can see, this formula doesn't necessarily work in line with this formula. It's just an average to give you an indication. So please be aware of that. This isn't bulletproof by any means. It just really helps to show you, should we pull the trigger on this and start investing, or are we absolutely miles away and we need to either up our income, reduce our expenses, or reconsider the goal altogether. So scrolling down a bit, so this is the actual cost of the land as at the time we bought it. So it was £13,000, which equates to around 30,000 lever. I've always got a lev to pound conversion. Of course, if you're just looking at a UK investment, you don't need the left column. If you're looking at a investment that uses euros or some other currency, then you can just pop the rough conversion rate in there, estimated exchange rate, and it will do the conversion here for you. So that's what that column is. And jumping back to the land quickly, so just to give you a bit of backstory on this, how did we buy the land? I actually at that time didn't have any money at all. So we bought the land back in, I think, October, November of 2020. Can you believe it? It's now nearly 5 years on. Ridiculous. And we didn't do anything for a while with it, purely because of this reason. So at the time that we found the plot of land, I'd also just bought this house. So I was absolutely tapped out for cash. So I had to take a loan. Don't necessarily advocate for loans in all senses, but if you look back at my previous video about when to use debt, I think land I do list as one of them, or investments. So the rate was, I can't remember, I think the rate was okay, and my loan was for £12,000. So this here, I just want to illustrate how aggressive a loan can be. In the moment, it seems like a great idea, and don't get me wrong, it was really good. We got the land for a really good price, but you are then forever paying back this £350 a month, which erodes your ability to save going forwards. So this loan took me a total of, what's that, 15, 30, it took me 33 months to repay a 36-month loan. So I managed to shave off 3 months. Probably wasn't even worth chunking it off at that point. But yeah, so I think I took out about £12,000. And the reason I took out more, because obviously we split the price of the land, because it's a split investment. So I didn't need the full 13k pounds. But the reason that I took out the higher amount is because the interest rate went from, if I was taking out, let's say, £6,000, it went from like 5% down to about 3% at the time. God, that 3% loan now seems ridiculous. But that's what it went down to. And it just made sense, because then I could use some of the other money for a few home renovations and things. And I did just keep a chunk in savings as an emergency fund, which doesn't necessarily make sense. And then chunked it off at the end. So that is just explaining what that loan bit is, but we can get rid of that now, because I just wanted to leave that in to explain how we funded the land purchase. So jumping down, here are some of the other costs that are known at this point. So we have the architectural plans, so the plans and drawings that you will have seen on the first video that I released about the build. They cost us about £2,500, 6,000 lev. And obviously that wasn't just those two sheets that I sent you. We had a massive stack of documents, all the paperwork, everything that was required, all for that price, which we thought was really good. So the groundworks, so as you'll see in video 1, where it cleared all of the land, that was around £1,700, so 4,000 lev. Again, pretty good price considering what they did. These are some of the costs that will be coming out in I think you'll probably see this in episode 3. I don't think it's there in episode 2 yet. So the exterior wall foundation, so that has been done. That was about £10,000, so pretty good price given that they had to dig down quite far. That was to build the retaining wall up that will, keep all of the soil in the road from falling into our land and things like that. So well worth the money. And then building it up slightly cost another £6,000. So again, not too bad. And like I said, it's just nice to have a spreadsheet or a document that you can use to track these costs and keep on top of it. I think that is all I really wanted to say on this video. It's going to be very short and sweet. The only other point that is quite good about this spreadsheet is, so for example, let's say we both started off with the 15K and we have managed to save, I don't know, 1,000. I can't remember what I've done recently. 500s, 800s. Let's keep it realistic. Wow. Not just static. 750, 450. There we go. Something like that. So as you can see, what this then shows is how much is left in the goal overall. But what I put here is a little tick box to say if you've paid it, then it comes out of the goal amount. So if it's green, it's yes, it's been paid. Because what I tend to do then is here, for example, I will have put the minus 6,500 and the minus 6,500. So it's a very live document to be able to track it over the life of the project. The point is that it's live, it's not a historical record. It's very much used for planning, in that you want to see exactly where you are right now. If there's more than one of you investing, it helps have multiple columns for each person's amount that's going in and each person's amount that's going out. And it just means that what you can then do is, let's say, for example, in 2 weeks, the architect or the engineer said that you needed to pay for, I'm literally going to type in another cost. There we go. Another cost has come up and it's going to be 40,000 lev. That immediately goes in and you can see here that we've only got 22k and we need the 37. However, if some of these were then put to yes, 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 yes. Oh, okay, actually cool. We can afford it, so we can say, yeah, go ahead and do that. We've got the money. Here's the cash. You see the point. Let's get rid of that though, because that's just nonsense. So hopefully this gives you an idea of the sort of spreadsheet and document that I use to track where we are and how we are going about building. Of course, at the end of the Bulgaria project, I will release a detailed breakdown of exactly how much it cost overall and how we funded it. Basically, it's just savings other than the loan for the land. So, and you'll see that as and when we fill this one out. I will fill this one out more accurately and make sure that as and when I'm releasing each episode, maybe 2 or 3 episodes at a time, I'll then upload another one of these videos so you guys can follow along on the costings. I know that it's something that a lot of you have personally messaged me about in terms of how do I do this? How do I save for this? What steps did you take? So thank you all for commenting and thank you all for direct messaging me. I'm sorry that I haven't got back to everyone on that because I thought it would just be easier to answer you. Showing this document or this spreadsheet is what I use to track any large investment projects. I say any large investment projects like I've got loads going on. I've only got the one, but this is what I use to track our investment project. So with that being said, that's everything from me. Thank you all so much for the support on the channel. It's been great to see. I hope that you have enjoyed this one and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.